Hello and welcome back to class. This is Mrs. Whitaker and this is your 12th grade English class. If you've missed the class or you just need to get a refresher, this week we talked about things and symbols from the Lord of the Flies. So we are going to, by the end of this lesson, create a poster that in turn explains the many different themes and symbols that you have seen in the novel and that you'll continue to see. We worked in groups today, but if you miss class, you can go ahead and do your poster on your own, and you can return that when you return back to class. So what are themes and symbols? That's what some of you may be asking, and that's what we're going to be discussing. So themes are main ideas or any underlining meaning of a literary work like The Lord of the Flies that you may know that'll be stated directly or indirectly. So some themes are very obvious in novels, some it kind of takes a little bit of digging. It's basically the central message of a story that the author wishes to convey to you. So you have to ask yourself, what is the author trying to tell me in this book that he just isn't outright coming out and telling me? And then it also is repeated from time to time. In this novel, it talks a lot about being uncivilized, so that can be seen as a theme. The need to be rescued can be seen as a theme because we constantly see that. And we also know that it just may be an opinion that's expressed on the subject matter. And for this one, I think that the author really wants us to understand what his views are on what the world is to him, being civilized and uncivilized, and how innocence of kids can be taken away as they grow up and they become adults. Symbols. Symbol is a figure of speech where an object, a person, or a situation has another meaning other than the literal meaning. And we kind of talked about this before. It's like an onion. It's layered, so you know for sure what something means. So you know it's an onion, but as you peel the onion back, you realize that there are other things that this means. So we talk about this with the conch shell. We know it's something that's always on an island or a beach. If you put it up to your ear, you can hear things. So that's what we know what it does. Okay, we know that a conch shell is a shell that's on the island that you can hear things from. Really pretty sounds. But in the novel, we realize that it shows civilization. It brings people together. It shows power. So it's just like those layers and layers of meaning that we eventually get to see, and it's definitely more than what the actual literal meaning is. So what about examples? What are some examples of things that you've noticed in Lord of the Flies that I haven't listed yet? Take a couple minutes to jot some down, and then we'll discuss more about them. So there are a lot of themes, a lot of themes in this novel, which is really great because it gives us room to have a lot of different discussions about what's actually going on with our main characters, Ralph and Jack and Piggy and Simon and the twins and all the other people that are in the novel that play big roles. So we see chaos and evil as a theme, law and order as a theme. We talk back about the conch shell and how that produced law and order because it brought people together, had meetings. You couldn't talk unless you had the conch shell. Even adult supervision, that's the thing. We realize that without the adult supervision, that the kids go wild. They are young and they don't have that structure and that knowledge to really live a civilized life without adults showing them how to. And because of that, you have a situation like one of the other themes, losing childlike innocence. And if you remember, Simon realized this for himself also when he realized that everybody has a beast within them and there isn't actually a beast. You lose that childlike innocence when you're on an island by yourselves with other kids and nobody is telling you what to do and you have to fend for yourself. So those are just a couple other things. You see I have a lot of them listed, so take a look at them. And also take a look at the really neat picture that I found that shows Jack and the clan getting their pig. Remember how excited they were to finally catch a pig after they ran crazy and didn't catch the last one. So what are some examples of symbols in Lord of the Flies? There's a hint if you look at the picture, and I just talked about it. Conch shell. So we have the conch shell, we have the beast, signal fire, civilization, and savagery. Those are all different kind of symbols that we've noticed in the novel. The first three are really more bigger symbols than the last one. But even think about the signal fire. Yeah, a signal fire basically does that. It signals people to, hey, recognize there's people on an island. But this fire meant so much more. It symbolized so much more in this novel, especially for Ralph. It symbolized getting back to civilization. It symbolized rescue. It symbolized a need to be saved. All things that a lot of the kids on the island didn't really care about towards the end of the novel, if you notice when you're reading the last couple chapters. So looking at these symbols, we can definitely tell how, if we see them for face value, they mean different things. But if we break them apart and focus on what the author is trying to convey with these, that we see a very deeper meaning of these symbols. Great. So you've been able to think of a few symbols and themes on your own. I've even discussed a few with you myself. Hopefully you've been taking great notes, and also you've read up to chapter 9, because now I want you to focus on your poster. So this is what your poster is going to look like. It's going to have either a theme or a symbol. So you have 6 to choose from. I want you to choose one of the themes or one of the symbols. And once you choose that one, then I want you to get a piece of paper. If you have big poster paper, great. If you just have a regular piece of paper, that's fine. And I want you to divide your paper in 4 corners, like you see on the screen. And you can have either a theme or a symbol, so don't feel like you have to be stuck with a theme just because the example shows a theme. But pick a theme or a symbol. If you choose conch shell, great, that's a symbol. Put that in the top left corner, and then the bottom left corner, I want you to explain that theme. So like I talked about the theme or the symbol of the conch shell and how it express power and how it showed law and order, and how important that was for Ralph and Jack and everybody else, and what role it played in the novel. Now on the top right, you'll see where it says 2 citation examples, and there I want you to look in the novel and find 2 places in the novel where it talks about the significance or the symbolism and the theme of whichever you chose. And I want you to write down word for word that sentence or paragraph, and make sure you put the page down. And then once you're done with that, on the bottom right, you'll do an illustration. So you can draw a conch shell, you can draw a beast, you can draw a picture of what law and order looks like, or what savagery looks like. So once you get that done, then you'll be done with the assignment, and you can turn that in. And again, understand, if you have any questions, feel free to email me and I'll get back to you within 2 to 3 hours. Or you can come to my class during passing period or during lunch, and I'll help you out as well. Look forward to seeing you soon.